Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Produce Buzzers podcast. We are so happy you have joined us today, and I think you will be too after the show is over, because you will learn a lot about fresh fruits and vegetables, how to select and store them, how to prepare and cook them, and surprising facts about their history and origin. We hope it inspires you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, not only for your health, but also for your delight and pleasure as you explore their amazing world of taste and delicious flavors. Eating more of them will transform your life in so many positive ways. So settle back, relax, and get ready for another delicious adventure with the Produce Buzzers. Greetings and welcome to another delicious episode of the Produce Buzzers podcast. I'm Edwin Stepp, your host and executive editor of ProduceBuzz.com. I'm joined once again by Teresa Nolan, the president and founder of Produce Buzz, along with Rick Stepp and Cynthia Benedetto, both contributing editors to Produce Buzz. Now, Produce Buzz podcast fans, we talk a lot about fruits and vegetables, and you know, they're so good, they deserve their own holiday. And today they literally have one. With the Lunar New Year right around the corner, we're diving into a season filled with symbolism, tradition, and some of the most beautiful, meaningful produce in the market, from golden kumquats that represent wealth and prosperity to long beans that stretch toward longevity, to crisp Asian pears that bring sweetness into the new year. And to guide us through this delicious cultural celebration, we're joined once again by our favorite guest and one of the most trusted voices in the produce world, Robert Schueller, Director of Public Relations at Melissa's World Variety Produce. He's also known far and wide as the produce expert. Robert has spent decades introducing America to fruits and vegetables from around the globe, helping retailers, chefs, and home cooks not just sell produce, but tell its story. Today, he's helping us explore the flavors, traditions, and market opportunities behind Lunar New Year favorites. We've got a long list of them, and Robert's going to touch base and tell us all about them. So whether you're from a culture that is steeped in the Lunar New Year tradition, a cook planning a lucky New Year feast, or just someone who loves discovering new flavors, stick around. This episode is packed with prosperity, crunch, sweetness, and a whole lot of produce wisdom. Let's ring in the Lunar New Year with fresh stories about fresher fruits and veggies. Robert, welcome back to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back here at the Produce Buzzers podcast there. Glad to always be a part of that, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about the Lunar New Year, also known as the Chinese New Year, but because It's a celebration within Asia, Lunar New Year is now the proper way to say it, though most not only as an international holiday in all of Asia, it's become an Americanized tradition here in the United States, and every year many metropolitan cities across the country do Lunar New Year celebrations. And this is a great way to celebrate the culture of Asia and bring in one of their holidays to your own home there. This year, the Lunar New Year, it's on a lunar calendar, so it's not always the same day every year. This year, it's a little bit later on the lunar calendar. This year, it is the year of the horse, and it is not until February 17th.
Right. It is a wonderful holiday, and it's getting more and more popular. I know a lot of Americans now, even if they're not of Asian descent, they love to look at the year. What's the year this year? Year of the horse, you said. That's great.
Correct.
And the way why we love it at the Produce Buzzers podcast is that fruits and vegetables are central to this celebration, unlike a lot of other holidays. You know, Halloween, it's candy. Maybe an apple here and there, a pumpkin. But in the Chinese or in the Lunar New Year, fruits and vegetables have a lot of important meaning and symbolism, and I think you'll touch on that today. So, why is produce such a central part of the Lunar New Year celebration?
Well, the average plate in Asia, really produce takes over most of the plate there. Unlike here, where meats are probably revered more than anything else on the plate there, or, produce is usually second nature to that. The Lunar New Year celebration is a 2 week celebration, and all cultural fruits and vegetables within each of the different Asian cultures are represented. Like Vietnamese Lunar New Year is called Tet. So they have a different name, but it's all celebrated because they all follow a lunar calendar,
Yeah.
celebrates it. And at Melissa's, we have over 60 different vegetables alone in the Asian category that we've been known for as a distributor to your local supermarket produce department. And I've always found that the Asian line of produce is difficult to the average American because, one, the vegetables are pretty hard to pronounce. Two, the majority of the vegetables are green and look very similar to each other.
Yeah.
And so an example on pronunciation: gai lan, gai choi, yo choi sum, choi sum. They're not your everyday names, and these are the different vegetables, and each of them are used a different way.
I thought you were cursing at me there, Robert.
I think we're going to dive into a few of these varieties. I know I sent samples out to you guys to
Yeah,
try,
thank you for that.
and some of the more popular ones that are used not only traditionally and have symbolism behind them, but also other ways in which to celebrate taking the old tradition and modernizing it to new. And in fact, if you go to our website at melissas.com, you'll see on our homepage a Lunar New Year menu recipes. So there's about
Oh,
a couple dozen recipes on cooking with the vegetables, the different fruits, and how to celebrate it correctly. Because maybe one, you love different cultures within the Asian culture that you would love eating these foods, whether by going out or cooking at home, or you have family and friends that are in the culture and have historically always celebrated. This is like the Christmas, New Year's, Super Bowl for Asia celebration. In fact, in Asia, most of the countries take like 2 weeks off. I wish
wow.
we had holidays here in the United States that we could take 2 weeks off.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
Okay, we've got a long list of these fruits and vegetables. What do you want to start with, Robert? What have you got on the slate for us?
oh, well, what I did was to each of you here on the phone, you, Edwin, Rick, Cynthia, and Teresa, each sent you about 4 or 5 different fruits and vegetables
Yeah.
that are the most popular. So I would say let's talk, Edwin, about some of the items that I chose you there. You
Okay.
mentioned this Chinese long bean. I mean, if
Right.
you try the Chinese long bean anytime during your lifetime, I believe most people haven't. I would definitely say that Chinese long bean would be substituted for any green bean recipe. They are just so flavorful. They're actually really long, which
Yeah.
has symbolism behind them. Noodles in Asian culture for the Chinese New Year represent longevity and life. The same with any fruits and vegetables that are long in size. And, the Chinese long beans I sent you probably are about almost, 15 to 20 inches in length there.
Yep.
Obviously, you don't eat it like spaghetti. You would chop it up, but they have such a great texture and flavor profile for a green bean. These are available year round, but we highlight a lot of these items around the Lunar New Year because, that is the time of the year where a lot of the stores really are into celebrating for this holiday.
Yeah, I've had those at Chinese restaurants, but I've never cooked them at home. So I'm really looking forward to trying that. I had to roll them up to fit them in my fridge because they were so long. But that was a very generous portion you sent me. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to check out melissas.com and find a good recipe. I'm sure you've got one there for that.
Yeah, any of the items that we talk about, Melissa's, there's really not a produce item we don't do. I guarantee if you go onto our site at melissas.com, put in the search of the produce item there, you're going to find at least three recipes. Probably
Right.
Chinese long bean. There's probably several more. Actually, it's one of the featured items in our Lunar New Year recipe menu, which you would find if you go to our homepage and get you thinking. In a few more weeks, that we'll be getting closer to the Lunar New Year.
Right. Got it.
Oh,
I like
and
making
where
my own Chinese food at home, so this will be a great addition to what I normally do.
does the website have a specific area that I can find the recipes?
Well, there's a search feature in the very left uh, top corner. You just put in the vegetable or fruit,
Right,
in this case, Chinese long bean, and it will list out, and you just connect to the picture where it says Chinese long bean,
right.
and the recipes are down below after you see the picture and description about each of the vegetables. So really easy to find any recipes in produce in general on our website. We make it
Yeah.
easy.
And you can find everything there,
Yeah.
even those you can't pronounce.
Yes.
But you better know how to spell it.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay, long beans. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it adds some longevity to my life
Yeah.
when I eat
Now,
them.
now another really popular, and I know a couple of you got some of the different leafy green like cabbages and stuff. I'm
Yeah,
talking about items like baby
yeah.
bok choy, Napa cabbage. First
I
of
got
all,
Napa.
yes, they're all in the cabbage family. Cabbage is more popular than leafy greens, like here in the United States. Leafy
Hmm.
greens like romaine and iceberg, those type of leafy greens that you can make a salad with. Well, in the Asian culture, cabbage is more popular in cooking and in making your typical stir fry or just basically steamed and enjoyed. The leaves are a little bit hardier, but there has been such a big trend in like baby bok choy in the last few years here in the United States. It's become not just an Asian item, but a cross cultural item because it's just so enjoyable. And the neat thing about all these different cabbage varieties, whether it's baby bok choy, which is the larger leaf ones, or the Napa, which look like like a big head, heart of romaine, but a
Yeah,
lighter color.
right.
Um, they don't take a long cooking time, but there's been a huge trend here in the United States and this has like been in the last 2 weeks. I know you guys probably will agree with this. Cabbage is like the it vegetable for 2026, it seems. So I'm thinking the American consumers looking into more cabbage recipes. I love personally baby bok choy more than any of the other cabbages, but they're just so easy to work with. You basically wash them off, cut off the little stem ends, and you can put it into any type of. You could do it as a separate side dish, to
Hmm.
whatever the rest
Yeah,
of the meal is. You can put it into a stir fry of different vegetables. I recommend adding some different colors, carrots, and
yeah,
other things, because kids love color on the plate. But
right.
baby bok choy, of all the different cabbage varieties there in the Asian culture, is they're flavorful. They meld well, even if you add a protein. I love putting with chicken or meat or pork. You can easily use like soy sauce or like a teriyaki sauce with there. And like I said, it doesn't take a long cooking time. But in Lunar New Year, all the leafy vegetables, whether it's the cabbages that I'm talking about here, is a symbolism behind wealth and money. So
Oh,
again, there is this cultural symbolism behind the different foods that are used in the Lunar
yeah.
New Year tradition.
Yeah, and even in English, cabbage is a slang term for money. So maybe we stole that from the Asian culture. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, and you sent me the baby bok choy. I've cooked with it before. It's great in a stir fry. I'm looking forward to having that, and I love the way it holds up. In a stir fry, doesn't they don't get too mushy or limp.
Hmm.
It holds up great. All right. So while we're on vegetables, maybe we stick to vegetables. Although I don't want to, I want you to take it the direction you feel is most logical. But what's next?
Well, some other really good accompaniments to some of the different, whether you, as I mentioned, like if you were doing like a stir fry or a heated vegetable, bitter melon.
Oh yeah,
I believe I sent you bitter melon,
you did.
Edwin. These are very popular vegetables, though botanically a fruit because it has seeds on the inside. But
Ah,
it,
sort of
it,
like a
it
cucumber, isn't it?
yeah, well, no,
It's
no.
not.
Bitter melon, even though it has the word melon in it, you
Yeah.
wouldn't want to bite into it like a cantaloupe or a honeydew. So in
Oh,
the Asian culture or Asian classification of vegetables, melon and squash are more interchangeable. I would say it's more like a squash than it is like a cantaloupe. It's not sweet. It's
yeah,
something you have to cook. And bitter melon is just one of those very popular vegetables. It's spelled bitter melon,
yeah.
two words. And there's a lot of health and nutrition behind this particular vegetable that's just so popular.
Right.
But yes, you did bring up the cucumber. It's closely related to the cucumber because just like the bitter melon, a cucumber is, even though most people think it's a vegetable,
Yeah.
it truly is a fruit because it has seeds on the inside.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking. I don't know that I've ever actually eaten bitter melon. I'm aware of it. I've seen it around. I go to Chinese restaurants, but I don't know that I've ever seen it on the menu or haven't had it. So I'm looking forward to trying that. They were
You,
beautiful. The ones you sent me were beautiful.
you, you know, the funny thing is that when people go out to eat and they go to an Asian restaurant and they get all these vegetables that are, mixed in the meal or a side dish. And I find it so funny that most people don't know that they're eating these different vegetables.
Right. Good point.
Whether it's bok choy, baby bok choy, bitter melon's very popular in a lot of stir fry dishes. I've always found it funny that we order these items, we don't know how to cook with them at home per se. And this is a great way to really learn about it because Lunar New Year is an education of the Asian culture for a celebration that's so important to them that has become Americanized.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time that bitter melon is going to be on your regular menu list for any of you guys when you get shopping. And the thing is that it's called bitter melon because literally it's like a squash, but it has a bitterness to it. And in the Asian culture, we here in the United States, we like sweet. But
Yeah.
in Asia, they're more into bitter vegetables and fruits more so than sweet that we are here in the United
Interesting.
States.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that when you cook it, some of that bitterness goes away. You said you don't eat these raw.
You never eat them raw. It would be
Yeah.
super bitter. But yes, when you cook them, it still has the bitterness to it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But it's a good bitterness.
Right.
It's kind of like cooking with eggplant. Eggplant doesn't have a lot of flavor profile. Botanically, the eggplant is a fruit, but most people look to it as a vegetable, just like the cucumber and like this bitter melon.
Right.
And it really absorbs the flavors of everything around it.
Yeah.
And eggplant isn't sweet at all, or I wouldn't describe it as sweet. And in most cases, sometimes I think eggplant is bitter. And eggplant,
Yeah.
whether it's Japanese or Chinese, which is very popular in the Asian culture as a popular cooking vegetable, though botanically a fruit there. And again, that's another one of those items that you typically would see when going out to eat at an Asian restaurant, whether it's
Right.
Chinese, Vietnamese, Thai. So the different variety, and the thing is about the different varieties of eggplant, unlike the typical large eggplant that you see here in the United States, the Asian eggplant, whether it's Thai, Chinese, or Japanese, they're very small. And the neat thing is that the skin is edible, so you don't have to
Oh,
skin them.
right.
However, on the traditional uh, large eggplant that you would buy at your local store here in the United States, You
Right.
have to peel the skin because it would almost be like eating leather,
Yeah.
unlike the skin of the different varieties of Asian
Right.
eggplants.
And there are so many different varieties of eggplant out there. So, but they
So
tend to be the Asian varieties tend to be longer, thinner,
Yes.
and not
Yeah.
bulbous like the traditional eggplant we have here.
Yeah, and
What?
I actually sent some samples to Teresa.
Mhm.
I'm
Okay.
not sure if she got to cooking
I,
with them there, but the Chinese eggplant. The way you tell the difference between a Chinese and a Japanese is the Chinese eggplant, the calyx on top is green, but on the Japanese eggplant, the calyx, which is that stem on top that kind of grows around the fruit, it would be purple in color. Which one did you get there, Teresa?
I have to run and look. I
Let me
I put them
see
in the
what
refrigerator, but I got two.
Yes, I
So,
believe you got Chinese.
okay.
Chinese is what you told me you sent
Yeah.
her in your
Yeah.
email, Robert. So I think that's
Yeah.
it.
question for you. Let's back up for just briefly on the bitter melon. Is it bitter like broccoli rabe?
Correct. So rapini or broccoli rabe is what you would call more of like a very much an Italian broccoli. However, it has its bitterness, like bitterness that you would taste like in kale and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And a lot of people here in the United States love kale. They love the bitterness of them because of the application of, putting in other vegetables or some type of protein that goes in with that. But yes,
Yeah.
that's what I mean by bitterness. Bitterness doesn't have to be your enemy. Sweetness is more for desserts, but a bitterness flavor is more used in everyday cooking for an entree or a side dish that you would have for like lunch or dinner.
Yeah. Teresa.
Yeah. What's your favorite way to cook the eggplant, the Chinese eggplant?
You could just see because it's small and because you don't have to peel it like a regular eggplant. Um, I like just sautéing it. Like I said previous, is when you can put it in with your favorite protein like chicken, and then use like a teriyaki sauce. And if you go into the international section, or if you go to a local Asian market, all the different tangy sauces beyond soy sauce would make a great accompaniment, whether it's the protein. But in many cases, eggplant in Asia is used just as a regular side dish. You don't have to mix it in with regular vegetables, but
Yeah.
it's maybe the sauce that you apply on it to give it an extra oomph to it because it absorbs the flavors that whatever it's cooked with.
Yeah.
Do you have to make sure that the oil is hot like you would with a regular eggplant to keep it from absorbing all the too much oil? It seems like regular eggplant will absorb oil very quickly. Would
Correct,
this?
but the Asian eggplant are very small, so you won't run into as many problems as you would on a larger eggplant.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Definitely.
Teresa, when we were in Charlotte in the 1980s, we had a lot of Indian customers, and they taught, they gave me a recipe for baked eggplant. They like the baby eggplant,
Uh-huh.
which I'm assuming is similar to the Chinese.
The Chinese, well, all the three main varieties of eggplant, Thai is round like a smaller tomato. The Japanese and Chinese are kind of like long. They're longer, but they're about a little bit thicker than the size of your thumb. So they're very small in size overall. So when most people work with eggplant, it takes a long cooking time because the eggplants are so big, and you usually cut them up into quarters. You don't cook them whole. So you'll find working with the different varieties of Asian eggplant much easier to cook with, and you don't run into as many troubles as a regular size eggplant. So take a look at melissa.com and find some of those different recipes, different mixes and recipes that we have. You'll definitely convert from traditional eggplant to doing Asian eggplant. You can even make little eggplant parmesans if you want, in like a fifth the amount of time it takes to cook, and you don't have to You really don't have to, other than cut it in half, just so it doesn't roll because they're round. You'll come up with some great ideas. But I guarantee once you start cooking with Asian eggplant, you probably won't go back to the original.
Yeah.
But
Right.
this recipe they gave me was a baked eggplant that you keep them whole, and then they stuff them with all kinds of spices. I think there was rice involved. It's been so long now, but I would search for an Indian recipe for that.
Mushrooms are very popular, whether you use them fresh or dried. In the Asian culture, mushrooms are very popular. I think most people are now familiar with shiitake, but you have other popular varieties like wood ear and oyster and mushrooms, because in many cases, a lot of the mushrooms are small in size. They represent coins,
Oh, okay.
again, representing riches and prosperity that is around there.
Yeah.
So mushroom I love mushrooms
Yeah.
in incorporation beyond Asian cooking, but my favorite is an Asian variety of mushroom called the maitake. And the maitake is a popular variety you would find at most restaurants. They're a little bit harder to find at your local stores. I know a lot of the Asian markets may carry so many different varieties. And
Yeah.
it could be very extremely expensive as well. But it's good to know there's varieties like shiitake, oyster, wood ear, whether you find it fresh or dried at your store, that really imports and incorporates flavors into the dish, whether you're making a soup, a stew, a side dish. There's this like umami thing that you get when you're cooking with mushrooms. I think
Right.
some of you can agree with that. But there's also this meaty flavor. I feel in some cases when you're cooking with mushrooms, you don't have to put meat or proteins in there because you get this meaty flavor to it.
Right. Yeah. The umami, as you said. Yeah. Some of the Asian grocery stores that I remember in LA area, you go and they have a whole section of dried mushrooms and just scores of different kind, and they seem to be mostly dried in those stores. But it's just unbelievable how many different varieties there are. And I think a lot of them are medicinal, not so much for eating, but more medicinal. But
Again, in the Asian culture, there's symbolism around fruits. And
yeah.
we'll talk about that more throughout our discussion here. Very
Okay.
different than how foods are looked upon here in the United States, as just food alone. But
Right.
there is a lot of symbolism behind them, and that's why we're talking about that right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's very cool of or very interesting of the culture, and why these particular fruits and vegetables
Yeah.
and foods are eaten for this tradition.
Right. And as we are the gathering place for lovers of fresh fruits and veggies, that they put these fruits and veggies on a higher plane, almost a sacred sacredness that they give to them. So we love that.
I think the closest we have here in the United States is having our symbolism is having turkey on Thanksgiving there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, in the South, we would have black-eyed peas and collard greens on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, yes.
And our parents used to put a dime in the black-eyed peas, and whoever got the dime would have good fortune that year. So as long as they didn't swallow it and choke on it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Then they got the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. What have you got for us next?
I think Rick, we could touch upon some of the different vegetables. Daikon is in most cases, the Asian radish, but daikon is extremely popular in Japan. But daikon is a white, large-sized radish. It looks like an overgrown carrot, and is used so frequently in the tradition. It's also probably one of the most popular Asian vegetables that Melissa's is known for and sold throughout the United States. Its application, again, daikon has, just like a regular radish, it has this like heat and bitterness to it that is popular in its application. Now, radishes are popular, especially in fermenting, pickling. It's a It's a usual and very popular item that is used in like kimchi.
Hmm.
And so daikon is just one of those vegetables that is used for Lunar New Year and is popular on a year-round basis here in the United States alone. But it's one of the highlighted items and unique because it's a radish that's large. It's not a radish that's round, but long, like a big carrot, like a big parsnip
Yeah.
In size.
Because they're white on the outside,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
it's white on the exterior, white on the interior. It's got a little bit of heat to it, kind of like horseradish, but not horseradish.
Yeah. Not that severe.
Yeah, and just gives that flavor. Pickling is just so popular in the way it's used. The traditional recipe in Korea, it's a staple for that radish, whether it's a daikon or the lobak. For pickling for the kimchi.
This is kind of irrelevant, but you know how you always go to an Asian restaurant and they have like a slice of orange for the decoration, but there's always something that the long strings and they kind of make it into like a little decoration. That's daikon. That's daikon.
That's daikon. The
and
white
then
daikon.
but then also like I used to see the guys when I was a waitress, like they would use the daikon to make little flowers. You know, so I mean
right.
they whittle them
Yeah,
into
the
anything. They can be long. I mean it's a perfect piece of hardware.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's the daikon, as you say there, it's an edible garnish, and you know the symbolism and the artistic that is used within the different cuisines, you know, is seen in obviously the Japanese cuisine, but also in Asian cuisine as well. And they do the same as for Lunar New Year and the way in which it's prepared and stuff like that. So that really segues into. I know a couple of you got. You know, Melissa's distributes in the produce department, but we distribute items like egg roll wrappers and wonton wrappers. And the symbolism behind the, you know, which you would, you know, a very popular finger food, you know, because it's like a dough where you wrap up different vegetables. Sometimes you wrap up different vegetables like napa, bok choy, carrot. You know, you might put some of the other vegetables, even bitter melon and stuff. But the wrappers itself has a symbolism that in the Lunar New Year you serve as guests for a blessing for good fortune. So there's a lot of symbolism behind that. And you'll always find the wonton and egg roll wrappers always next to the Asian vegetables in the produce refrigerated case.
Yeah, interesting. Make it like a little taco.
No,
it's different.
They squish them. They squish them like with the corner, so it looks like a little flower.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. And then do they fry?
Sometimes this one, like the Melissa's one, like a napkin. Yeah, like a napkin.
Okay. And sometimes they deep fry those or not? Am I thinking something?
Yes. Yeah. Typically, they are deep fried. The wonton wrappers are smaller in size, so those are smaller finger. But the egg roll wrappers, they're larger in size, and you can roll them up, kind of like sushi rolls, but you fry them instead of serving them raw. So it's actually the exact opposite. But the whole idea of the finger foods that are enjoyed for the meal or like as an appetizer. But the funny thing is that the Asian culture has so many influences because like they serve egg rolls and wontons. They're popular during the New Year's, and then with football and the Super Bowl coming up, these are just great finger foods. And to know that the Asian culture foods being incorporated into all these other holidays. But it's wontons and egg rolls are just a great way in being able to enjoy so many different vegetables. Again, like as I mentioned before, you go to an Asian restaurant, you order something, you don't necessarily know what you're eating, but it sure tastes good. And that I find that so funny with egg roll and wontons. When you're eating them, you're like, what vegetables are in there? I see green vegetables. I think that's carrot. I'm not sure, and we have melissas.com has plenty of recipes. You put wonton or egg roll into the little search engine, you're going to get like over a dozen different
Cool.
ideas.
That's cool. Yeah, and the people who don't like vegetables like them when they come in that form
As long
oftentimes.
as they come that way,
Yeah,
yes.
right. Okay. So the wrappers, that was great. I think you sent some to Teresa and some to Cynthia,
Mhm.
which was
Yes.
rich.
Yes.
But
I got
that's
the egg roll, I think.
okay. Very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
So
we should continue on, but I've spent a lot of time talking about vegetables. Let's talk
okay.
about some of the fruits
Yeah,
that
let's do
are
that. Yeah.
popular. And one thing that I forgot to talk about here is, coconuts. A coconut is so popular. What you have inside the liquid that's inside. Most people think it's milk. Milk is a process of using the water and the meat on the outside. If
Oh,
you get a coconut, we call them easy open coconuts. You
right.
can literally we have it where you just push in and then put a straw in, and you're
Right.
drinking the water of the young coconut. We call them easy open coconuts.
Yeah, they're
But
great.
brown coconuts, using the meat on the inside is great and used in cooking as well. Coconut
Mm,
is a very popular flavor, even more popular in many cases than like mango. And mango, well, bananas are the number one fruit in the world, and mangoes are number two. But in
okay.
Asia, coconut makes the top five, and coconut in the Lunar New Year celebrate. Coconut symbolizes togetherness of a family, and so that's why coconut is a traditional ingredient that is used not only for drinking, but also for application in dishes that are sweet. They don't all have to be bitter,
Yeah.
but whether it's a dessert or a side dish that has sweetness to it, and some of the cuisines like Thai, coconut seems to be used in like
Yeah.
everything. It's just so
Yeah.
delicious. Even in like soups and stews,
Right.
the coconut water or the coconut milk is applied and used as a broth
Yeah.
instead of using traditional broth,
Right.
because in a lot of the um, um, Asian cuisine, um, meat is not a focus on the whole menu. It could be included, but is not so important in the Asian cuisine as a whole.
Yeah. Interesting. Now you said, okay, so a coconut has water naturally. There's no milk, but how do they make the coconut milk? Do you say they blend it with the meat? Is that how it
They
comes out?
use the water on the inside and
Okay.
the meat that forms around the base of the
Okay.
along the shell of the coconut,
Right.
and there's a whole cooking process.
Okay.
So coconut milk is not what comes inside the coconut. You actually either can one make it, or most popular, people buy canned
Yeah.
coconut milk, and
Right.
so it's white. Coconut milk is actually white. When you're
Yeah.
drinking the water out of the coconut, it is not white.
It's
It is
clear.
clear,
Yeah.
just like water. It
Right.
has the sweetness of a coconut.
Well,
So
that's interesting. I think a lot
yeah.
of people, I think I make some of my own Thai food and I love the coconut. And I think for a while I thought coconut milk was what came out of it, but it's interesting to learn that it's not naturally a milk out of it. So
Mhm.
that's good. Okay, more fruits?
Yes. Well, I didn't send anyone any fruits there, but leading up to Lunar New Year, one of the most popular or more obscure traditions is giving a gift. See, in the Asian culture, giving a gift is a little different than we give gifts. Like when in America, in the United States, it's traditional to give a gift of like a wine bottle or chocolates or flowers when you're visiting family and friends that maybe you haven't seen for a while and you're coming together for a traditional meal. But in Lunar New Year or in Asia, a traditional gift in bringing to a family or friends that you're visiting wouldn't be a bottle of champagne or anything like that. Usually, it's as simple as a bag of oranges. Humbly, that's something that is given, or some citrus and stuff. But one that is a little bit really focused, and the season is usually in the fall to early early winter leading up to Lunar New Year. Buddhist hand citron
Oh,
is
yeah.
one of those traditional gifts.
Wow.
It represents good luck and good fortune for the year. And if you've ever seen Buddha hand, it doesn't have a big culinary purpose because even though it's in the citrus family, it's a citron, meaning that a citron does not have any edible fruit on the inside. So the citron itself is, and it looks like, to me, it looks like a big yellow octopus. What you think looks like a fruit that is growing into like a tangerine or a grapefruit grows these long fingers or long limbs. That's how it's got its name. And it's actually, from a culinary perspective, it is used for its peel, its skin.
Like
and
a zest.
So, yes, you can zest it. It makes the best citrus zest over any lemon, lime, or any other thing that you like to zest when you're cooking. That's what it's used for. Right. Traditionally.
And is it sweeter? I know, like, it's interesting because, in orange, the fruit is sweet, but the peel is bitter. But a lemon is the opposite.
Peels are bitter, but it has a hint of sweetness and the aroma that it portrays and stuff like that.
Right.
We actually have recipes that you can infuse it with, like vodka.
Oh, there you go, like a limoncello.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's a Lunar New Year tradition, but it's one of the recipes that we have on our site.
It's fusion. It's a fusion recipe. I've made my own limoncello in the past, which is basically you take the lemon peel, and it's the Sorrento lemon makes the best from Italy, and you put it in vodka and let it just soak up, infuse the vodka. So
and to let you know, the viewers, Edward, your background. Your left shoulder, there's a long Buddhist hand right at your left shoulder on your background.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there it is. Yep. Okay. We'll put up a photo, even though we're only audio, as you know, but I'll put up a photo for our, and we'll take some nice photos of the things you sent us as well and share those on our webpage. So
awesome.
Anyway, good. All right. Buddha's hand. That's right. That is it's such a funny looking thing. I think you, at your booth at IFPA, the big international show, you had some Halloween suggestions using the Buddha's hand, didn't you? I can't remember.
Yes, we actually use the Buddha's hand because the season starts in September, and we use it in a promotion we call Freaky Fruits leading up to Halloween. Yeah, because it's one of those fruits that it naturally looks unusual. It grows unusual year after year. These citrus, it's one of the most oldest citrus fruits known to man. Wow. And it grows so uniquely like any other fruit or vegetable that Mother Nature creates.
It looks like a hand from some of these horror movies that's poking up through the grave, and it's mangled and marled.
Yeah, if you flip it upside down, it looks like an octopus.
All right. That's true.
There you go.
Okay. All right. We're making progress. We got a few more to go.
Also, some other symbolic fruits. Citrus fruits in general are very symbolic, and many citrus derived, if not most of them, from Asia. But there's particular ones beyond the Buddhist hand that are popular, like kumquats.
Oh yeah.
And in the Lunar New Year tradition, it symbolizes prosperity, like little gold pieces. Okay. And that is a fruit that is used for not only its tart flavor on the inside. They're only they're oval and about smaller than or about the size of a quarter. So they're not big citrus. Right. They're a little bit harder to find, but popular in Asian dishes in particular. But it's used for not only its interior tartness, but also its skin, which is more sweet than tart. Yeah. And so typically the whole fruit, you could just slice it into like pennies in size and use it in an application, whether you're using it to sweeten up or tarten up a salad that has a vinaigrette, or you can use it in a dessert, or you can use it like in a dessert, in a jelly or marmalade. So kumquats is, you have gold pieces there when you incorporate it into your Lunar New Year recipe.
Yeah. Yeah. I love them. There were a lot of in the neighborhood I lived in Pasadena. There were a lot of my neighbors had them just growing right out on their lawn. So I could go grab a few.
It is a very decorative citrus fruit.
Yeah,
The tree doesn't grow as big as other larger fruits, and so
right,
you're right. I have a lot. I living in Southern California. We grow our fruit in our backyard.
right. Yeah,
And kumquat is such a decor. It's a decoration plant, like an
yeah,
ornamental little bush plant tree. And I find it so funny because you see the fruit fall into the ground because people don't know that you can actually eat them.
right.
So
Or they don't like them. I love them, but they have those. The bushes are so bright, dark green, and then these
yes.
just marvelous deep orange against that green makes it a very decorative bush for the yard. So, yeah, kumquat May. I always say that when I think of kumquats for some reason.
Okay,
Robert's so polite. He just like ignores it and keeps going.
Another very popular fruit, we're still talking fruits here, are we call them butterscotch pears. They're from South Korea. They are in the Asian pear family. So they look the shape of an apple. They're goldish in color, almost like a yellow brownish in color. They're crisp like an apple, so they look like
Yeah,
an apple, unlike a traditional pear. But they are truly a pear. They are extremely popular. There's also varieties called sand pears. Those are more
oh,
popular in China, in Taiwan, than from Korea. These butterscotch pears, but these butterscotch pears, they are awesome. These fruits have thin skins. They have great crispiness and sweetness to them. They're
juicy,
used to
very juicy.
very juicy as well. It's not uncommon to receive a case of these butterscotch pears as a gift for
Mm.
Lunar New Year because they're a little harder to find. They're large in size. They have crispness, and even the core itself is so small. You can take that pear and cut it. Even though it's in the shape of an apple, you can cut it into discs and eat them whole.
Yeah,
One thing about Asian culture, not a lot is wasted once you buy a fruit or vegetable. That the application of using its skin, or in this case, its core, is very predominant in the culture as well.
right. What
And
the butterscotch Korean pear is different than just your typical Asian pear?
that's what I was
Is
going
there
to
different
Yes.
variety?
compare and contrast like the texture and the flavor.
Okay, they're very similar looking at them. The
Yeah.
butterscotch pears, one, are definitely larger in size. Two,
Okay.
has a lighter and thinner skin. I
Okay.
know in a lot of different pear varieties, you can really taste or feel the skin in your mouth. Fun fact, in the United States, we eat pears full. We don't skin them. In other countries, they skin them because they believe this. Most cultures think that the skin on a pear can be really thick and chewy.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, getting back to that, I would just say that the butterscotch pears, the Korean pears, also another cool thing about them is they don't oxidize. Most
Oh,
pears, when you cut a pear or when you cut an apple, they oxidize.
they
But
turn around.
butterscotch pears, Korean pears do not oxidize like a regular pear.
Oh, that's good to know.
So
So that's great for a charcuterie board or a fruit
Hmm.
plate.
definitely, because you don't usually see pears and apples on a charcuterie board or a fruit platter or anything like that. Because once you cut them, they go bad. So that's
Right.
typically a fruit that you don't do. And charcuterie boards are just so popular, and fruit platters here in the United States. It's kind of like your typical appetizer when you start a meal or party. Leading up to the main meal or whatever like that. And to
Right.
know that you can cut a butterscotch pear and these Korean pears. However, I got to tell you that they're not available year round. The season started back in November and only goes until March. So they're always available during the Lunar New Year, because the Lunar New Year always falls somewhere between late January and usually by mid-February.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Butterscotch pears, look for them. You will not be disappointed. Yeah. Okay. And more fruits?
Yeah. I mean, longans, rambutans,
Oh, yeah.
lychees.
They're all similar.
Yes.
Similar. Yeah.
First of all, they're all cousins of each other. They're just a little different. Longans are the smaller ones. They're almost like marble size. Right now, they're kind of tough to find. However, Melissa currently has, or on the market, you'll be able to find lychees. Lychees are kind of like more of the pebbly type skin. They're about the size of about a quarter. They have a reddish, almost yellow, leathery skin that you peel like you would peel a tangerine, and inside is a whitish, translucent, almost like grape.
Yeah.
And then in the middle is a seed. Now, rambutan is a little bit larger. It's about the size of a silver dollar. Most people mistake it for a sea urchin because it has these little fine hairs.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy looking to your average fruit, kind of like the Buddhist hen I was talking about.
Right.
But the longan, the lychee, and the rambutan, which is the largest. The rambutans are actually reddish and they have the little hairs.
Yeah.
They symbolize having many good sons.
Oh.
So again, there is a symbolism behind it.
Yeah.
And I guess having sons in the Asian culture are revered. But I find that as an interesting culture there. In the United States there, I think that's more discrimination or sexism there, but we don't have to get into politics here.
Right.
Yeah,
but that's been true through a lot of cultures, even Western culture for many years.
I was going to say, they've finally stopped drowning girls at birth.
Yeah. So anyway, well, that's the symbolism. Many good sons is something that was important in the culture. Yeah. And hopefully they're changing and feeling that way about their daughters as well. I had 3 daughters, so I was very happy.
Right.
Okay.
You still have them, don't you, Edwin?
Yeah. Yes.
No drownings.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fantastic.
I just realized there's one essential, well, it is a vegetable, but is looked upon more like, because it has such intense flavor, it's more like an herb, kind of like garlic or onion is, which are, global flavors that are typically used, onions, shallots, and stuff like that. And I think Cynthia, I had sent her ginger and turmeric.
Yes.
Ginger is like the most common herb, though it is a root vegetable that has such an intense flavor and is used in all application across the board in the Asian culture. Now, more in the southeast part, the root, or many people refer to as herb, turmeric, very different from ginger, used in similar applications, but getting a totally different flavor profile depending on what you're cooking. We actually put even though we sell ginger alone and turmeric, but the pack I sent Cynthia is what we call an immunity booster pack. It incorporates both ginger and turmeric in its container there. And it's very popular. Not only that we sell it year round for people who love to juice, but it also can be used as an essential ingredient, or what I like to say herb, even though they're a root vegetable and a little goes a long way. Is a package that Melissa introduced a few years back, and it's become very popular, especially that not only the symbolism behind them in Lunar New Year, but the health aspects of incorporating these Asian flavors of both ginger and turmeric into your diet, not just for Lunar New Year, but it's something that can be applied on a year-round basis.
Right. I knew ginger was a root. Turmeric is also a root.
Very similar. It's more popular in Southeast Asia, especially. It's like the ginger is not so popular in India, but turmeric is the ginger for India. Most other Asian countries, even Japan, China, Thailand, Vietnamese. Well, some of them also use galangal, which is another root vegetable that's upcoming. But ginger is the most prevalent, especially in the northern Asian countries in particular.
Yeah.
Your
Fantastic.
turmeric is the actual root, not ground up into powder, correct?
It's the actual root. And there's one thing that I wanted to mention in regards to ginger and turmeric. Once you buy it, it doesn't ever have to go bad. Put it into the freezer whole. And when you're ready to use it, you don't use a knife because you're going to cut your hands or cut your fingers trying to peel the skin of ginger or turmeric. Use a spoon to scrape off the skin. And like I said, a little goes a long way. You don't use it like you would carrots or other vegetables or that you use. You use just a little to simulate and impart that freshness. Unless of course you're making pickled ginger, where it's only gingered pickle, but turmeric is used as an herb. Ginger is typically used as an herb, though it is a root vegetable. And like I said, put it in the freezer. Just pull out what you need and skin it with a spoon and incorporate it into your meal to give it that flavor that is so revered in the whole country of Asia.
Is that both? Is that peeling or that usage? Is that the same with both ginger and
Turmeric?
Turmeric. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Just use a spoon on both.
Yeah.
Turmeric kind of looks like ginger. Ginger is the roots itself grow a little bit larger. They're tubular, that they just grow. It's like domino effect. They just grow on top of it and then they grow, which is the root of a leafy, beautiful, greeny plant that grows above. So turmeric, however, I've got to note that ginger can easily be washed off your hand. But when you're working with turmeric, because turmeric is more like a yellow-orange root, be careful. You're going to get the dyes get on your hand there. So your fingertip. Most people might think you're eating Red Hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
Work with turmeric. And also a warning when you're using it, especially with if you're using like a Tupperware. Especially if the Tupperware is opaque, like clear plastic or white, it will kind of turn your Tupperware yellowish orange.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
And your cutting board, everything.
Yes.
Good advice.
But like I said, a little goes a long way.
Right.
So.
You can wear gloves.
Yes,
great.
Gloves. No problem.
All right, so you were talking about.
Go ahead. I think we forgot the lemongrass.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up since it's kind of similar. It's a lemongrass. You sent Teresa some lemongrass.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and lemongrass. Most of it's grown for distribution out of California, but lemongrass can be grown anywhere. And once you grow it, you can never get rid of it. The only way to get rid of it is by moving somewhere else. It's probably one of the most invasive. Well, I consider it more of an herb. Because a little goes a long way. And when you use lemongrass in an application like a super stew, you would drop it in like a bay leaf and take it out the end. Only if you were to mince lemongrass, its lemony sweet flavor really adds to dishes, just like ginger and turmeric does to dishes as well. Lemongrass is very cross-cultural for all of Asia. I know lemongrass is probably more popular in Thailand, Vietnam, and some of the most Southeast Asian areas there. But it is it makes its top 10 for Lunar New Year vegetables that are popular from Melissa's Produce. And I think another application that you can use it is I love cooking with it as using it as a skewer. When I put it on the barbecue with chicken and it imparts the lemongrass flavor in that.
Wow.
It is popular to do that in Asia as well, though most of Asia, not necessarily big on meats and stuff like that. But I learned about using them as skewers. Now, you don't eat the lemongrass straight up. It's impossible there.
It's so
but
tough.
However, if you do mince it, you can use it in an application. But most often than not, you can use it like a cinnamon stick or a bay leaf to impart that flavor in the whole dish. And a little bit goes a long way.
Is it that sturdy? Is it that sturdy that would
it's pretty
easily used as a skewer?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a stalk, and it almost looks a little bit like bamboo, in my opinion. Those small,
and that's what I was thinking of, that when Robert was saying, like, it'll overtake. Isn't that the one thing you do not plant in your yard is bamboo?
Yeah.
Because it'll take over, like what you said, Robert.
Right.
Correct.
I love it. I make the Thai coconut soup. It's called tom kha, and I usually put chicken, which is gai, tom kha gai, and lemongrass is big in that, and the coconut milk, and then the mushrooms. You have a lot of mushrooms, so that's one of my favorite dishes to make. And the lemongrass is great. If you need it fresh, you can get it. I've seen it in tubes, kind of a paste, but it's not as good if you don't have the fresh stuff, in my opinion.
And so, what do you just throw all that stuff in there and then
you
cook it, or do you have to saute it?
What's the word? Sift it. It's not sift. What am I trying to say? Strain it. You strain
it. Yeah.
You strain the lemongrass out. Mm-hmm. You put ginger in it as well. Ginger, lemongrass goes in it. I'm trying to think what else. Those are the main things. You don't want to strain out your mushrooms.
No.
Anyway, enough about my cooking. Let's get back to Robert's. What else has he got on her plate?
I think one other category we didn't talk about, and I think I sent Rick some sugar snap peas. Peas
cool.
in general are really popular. Sugar snap peas and snow peas are the most popular in Asia. Sugar snap peas and and snow peas. They're a whole potted bean. We call them peas, so there's a little bit of confusion there because you eat the pods. Traditional, like English pea, you pot them and then you eat the green pea on the inside, which most people are familiar with there. So there's a little bit of confusion there, but they are a pea that you eat the whole husk, whole husk that it comes in. The sugar snap peas, extremely popular. The snow peas, which are the flat peas you would possibly get more in like Asian cooking and stuff like that. And it's many applications, whether it's a stir fry or a side dish. Extremely popular for the Lunar New Year.
So I got from you pulqua.
Opo squash. Yeah, pulqua, which is called opo squash. And think of it more like a zucchini.
Okay.
Yeah, cook it like a zucchini. Sometimes they're referred to as melons, but do not eat raw. You'll find out really fast, just like bitter melon.
Is it really?
Edwin, don't eat the bitter melon raw.
I won't.
Unless Rick is on the line with you eating a opo squash pulqua.
We'll challenge each other to see if we can eat it. Sort of like, what's that? Fear factor?
Cook it first, then enjoy it. Yeah. You can use it soups or stews, cube it, and put it in. Again, a stir fry. Stir fries are really popular with all the different Asian vegetables and stuff like that. Delicious.
I've got to tell you this recipe though. So I got pulqua, daikon radish, sugar snap peas, and dried shiitake mushrooms. So I thought, what am I going to do with these things? So I went to the AI and I put in a recipe for those 4 things, and sure enough, one came up.
Yeah.
This recipe often referred to as a Buddha's delight.
Buddha's delight. Yeah, Buddha's feast.
Combines mild sponge-like pulqua, sugar snap peas, and dried shiitake mushrooms.
That's interesting.
Well, Robert knew what he was doing. For those exact 4 things, and I thought, I wonder if he sent us a package that we're supposed to use the whole thing for.
No, it was just I had a list, and I basically just separated between the 4 because usually what I do is I send you guys all the same thing, and I go, you know what? I don't have to send the same thing to all of you guys. Right. I'll send something different. So there you go.
Yeah, that's good. I thought that was good. Yeah.
But I'm going to make that recipe.
All
Okay,
right.
tell me how it goes.
Okay.
I think we basically have gone through like the top 10 veggies that are
Yeah,
most popular for the Lunar New Year holiday.
we did. Thank you so much. So informative, so interesting. The symbolism is great. And folks, you got to look for these. You'll often find Melissa's displays in your produce department, whole section with just Melissa's, all their tremendous variety. So if you're looking to celebrate Lunar New Year, check for that. If not, you're going to find them somewhere in the produce section, Melissa's items that we've talked about today. And then you go to melissas.com and get those recipes for them. So we really thank you. Thanks for sending us these. We're going to try them. We're going to let you know how they came out. We'll post some things on our website, and we really appreciate that. Well, we would say goodbye, but there's a ritual you have to go through.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to let you go away.
I'm coming. Oh, sorry. I'll be right there.
We got a pun issue. Right, Teresa? Are we ready?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, Teresa, what's today's homegrown?
Well, wonton and lemongrass were talking about big Lunar New Year celebration that was going on downtown. And wonton asked lemongrass, "Are you going?" And lemongrass said, "Oh, no, I'm not going. I am not going." And wonton said, "Why?" And lemongrass said, "I am not going there. I'm scared to go. I am frightened to go." And wonton said, "Why?" And lemongrass said, "Well, I overheard Ginger talking, and what Ginger had to say was absolutely frightening. So, what do you think wonton heard, and why wouldn't he go downtown?"
Okay. Let me see if I can summarize this. Now, did wonton hear it or lemongrass heard it? Who heard it?
Okay. I don't know. One of them.
Lemongrass overheard
Ginger and was too frightened to go. Wonton was trying to figure out why.
Right.
So, what did lemongrass hear from Ginger?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That made him so frightened? Was it him or he or she?
I missed where they were going.
It's they, them.
Downtown?
They're going
to
downtown
the big
for
Lunar New Year celebration. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. Yeah.
I think I know this.
Oh.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
The
What
Buddha's
is it?
hand was coconut.
What?
What was that?
That Buddha's hand went coconut.
Nicely
I like it.
done.
That's probably better than her answer.
Yeah.
I'm
It
sure.
probably is.
Oh, I don't know. Wonton tomato? I don't know. I was thinking wonton tomato, wonton tomato. That song.
Oh, dear.
Ginger, lemongrass. I don't know. Rick? Come on, Rick.
Because it was Lunar New Year and they were in Minneapolis?
Oh,
Cynthia, you got something?
Uncle.
All right, Teresa, I have
Okay.
no idea either.
Okay. Well, lemongrass said to wonton, "I heard Ginger say that there were going to be dragons there." And wonton said, "What?" And lemongrass said, "Yeah, I heard there were going to be dragons there. I'm scared." And wonton said, "I think Ginger said those celebrations tend to drag on."
Right on.
You're giving us some really tough ones now.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta lighten up a little
You
bit.
might have to go lie
But
down.
there are
Yeah,
dragons
exactly.
at the Lunar New Year celebrations. That's
Hey, how about them Dodgers?
okay. Sorry, Robert, to put you through that. I'm
Yeah.
surprised you keep coming back, but we're glad you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me there. You guys.
We
Thank
love
you.
you, Robert.
Thank you for the goodies.
All
And I
right.
hope you guys enjoy and have a great Lunar New Year.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you.
A happy
All right, you
Lunar New
guys.
Year to you as well. Go
Go
Rays.
Hey, Fat
Bye.
Troy.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Produce Buzzers podcast, brought to you by Produce Buzz, the gathering place for lovers of fresh fruits and veggies. We hope you were entertained a bit and educated a lot about fresh produce. Be sure to join us next time, and please tell your friends to do so as well. Like, share, and comment on our Produce Buzz Facebook page, and check out our website at www.producebuzz.com. There you will find articles about fresh fruits and veggies, how to select, store, and prepare them, as well as lots of interesting facts about all the wonderful bounty the earth provides for us. Until next time, be fruitful and don't forget to veg out.